Hello, I'm James McIntyre here to explain the functions of your Gree mini-split remote. Your remote may look a bit different, but the functions are essentially the same. This is an infrared remote, which means the remote must be inside of the unit for the unit to receive a signal from the remote. All of the information on the face of this remote is sent to the unit every time you press a button. The unit lets you know it's received a signal by beeping. If it does not beep when you press a button, it has not received a signal. The remotes are universal and not individually programmed, so you can use one remote to control many indoor units. We know that the on and off button turns the unit on and off. The up and down buttons increase or decrease the set point. The mode button changes the mode of the unit from auto to cool, to dry, to fan, and to heat. The snowflake is for cooling, and the sun icon is for heating. The fan mode will only run the indoor fan. It does not heat and it does not cool. The water droplets indicate the dry mode. The dry mode has an adjustable set point but runs in cooling at a minimum speed so that the unit will continue to pull humidity out of your room without lowering the temperature. The auto mode for the Levo Gen 3 is great for when a space will be unoccupied for a time, as it sets a cooling set point of 77 and a heating set point of 68, meaning that it will still be relatively comfortable when you return. Other models, like the Vireo Gen 3, have an adjustable set point in auto mode that will maintain a temperature within a few degrees of set point. The fan button adjusts the fan speed. I recommend using the auto fan speed so that the fan adjusts speed as needed. So that our unit can sense the room's temperature accurately, the fan will continue to run at low speed even when the unit isn't cooling. In cooling, if we set the fan speed to low, medium, or high, the fan will always run at low, medium, or high, whether or not the unit is cooling. In heating, once the coil is warm enough to start the fan, the unit will then run in low, medium, or high, depending on what you have set. Dry mode is the only mode where we cannot change the fan speed. The swing button lets us adjust where the air will blow. This includes 4 oscillating settings and 5 preset position settings. Some models have left and right swinging as well. The turbo button is used either in heating or cooling when you need as much cooling or heating as possible. For example, if you've been out of town and you've left the unit in auto mode, when you come home, change the mode to heating or cooling and press turbo to quickly achieve the desired temperature. Press sleep to enable sleep mode. For the Levo Gen 3 in cool mode, the set point will increase by 2 degrees an hour after any button is pressed on the remote. In heating, the set point will decrease 2 degrees an hour after any button is pressed on the remote. The Vireo Gen 3 expands this by providing the increase or decrease every hour for up to 8 hours. This feature can save energy, but you may find yourself a little less comfortable. This feature is not used very often. The temp button can change the temperature display on the unit. Normally, the unit will only display the set point. If you press temp until the thermometer icon is inside the house, every time a button is pressed, the unit will display the internal temperature that the unit is sensing. All other configurations will return the unit to its factory default set point display. The clock button is used to set the time. Currently, the clock can only display in a 24-hour format, also known as military time, so that 14:15 is really 2:15 p.m. The Wi-Fi button will enable or disable the Wi-Fi function. With Wi-Fi enabled, an internet connection, and the Gree Plus app downloaded on your phone, you can remotely control your unit when away from home. If your remote doesn't have the Wi-Fi button, turn off the remote and press the mode and turbo buttons simultaneously to enable or disable Wi-Fi as indicated by the Wi-Fi symbol on the remote. A small but important feature is the light button. This turns the display on and off on the unit. The display is bright enough so that we can see it during the day, but at night you may not want it on, particularly in a bedroom or when it's movie night. On your remote, you may have an iFeel button. If you don't, press mode and up to enable iFeel. iFeel sends the temperature at your remote to the indoor unit and updates the unit every 10 minutes when the remote is pointed in the direction of the unit. If the remote is out of sight of the unit at the 10-minute mark, the unit will then return to using its onboard sensor. If any button is pressed while iFeel is enabled, the unit will be updated at that time. The timer on and timer off button is used to set a simple schedule for additional energy savings. Please ensure that your clock is set correctly before setting a timer. Press the Timer On button to set a time you would like the unit to turn on. Press the Timer Off button to choose a time you would like the unit to turn off. These buttons enable the on and off timers. When on or off is displayed next to the clock, an on or off schedule is enabled. To cancel either, press the Timer On or Timer Off buttons, and the on or off next to the clock will disappear. If you feel that your unit is turning on and off randomly, check to see if on or off is displayed next to the clock. Disable those timers as needed. One function without a button on the remote is the energy saving function. In cooling mode, press the temp and clock buttons at the same time, and SE will display on the remote and on the unit. The unit decides to set a set point based on current ambient conditions so that the unit will automatically use less energy. This also means that the space will likely be quite warm, so this is best used when the room will be unoccupied. In heating, pressing the temp and clock buttons at the same time will enable freeze guard. This sets the set point at 46 degrees, our lowest possible set point. This feature wouldn't be enabled for normal household use, but for cabins, garages, wood shops, or other spaces where occupancy is not as frequent. To change the display from Celsius to Fahrenheit or vice versa, turn the remote off and press the mode and down buttons at the same time. This also changes the unit of measure displayed on the unit. In order to prevent unwanted changes to operation on the remote, you can lock it. It's also known as a child lock. Press the up and down buttons at the same time to enable this function. A lock icon will appear, and it will flash when a button is pressed to let you know it is locked. To unlock it, press the up and down buttons again. What do you do if you've lost your remote? You can still operate your unit. Open the panel, and on the right-hand side of the unit, you'll find a small button, and it's labeled AUX. You press this button to turn on or turn off the unit, but when it's on, it will maintain a set point of 68 degrees in heating or 77 degrees in cooling, providing you with some comfort until you find or replace your remote. And those are the remote features that you'll use to get the most out of your Gree system. For more information, go to greecomfort.com. Enjoy your comfort.